I used the sleeping bag that I have under my bed and have had under my bed for really since I moved into here for extra layer of warmth last night. I bought this when I moved in here, I don't know, from Walmart. It was cheap. It's not particularly warm, but it's done the job. But now that we are almost into January, uh, I don't know, sometimes it feels a little chilly. And I have a Bears blanket you guys have probably seen before that's out on my futon out there. And sometimes I'll bring that as another layer to my warmth. Uh, but I kind of remembered that I had to have this sleeping bag underneath the bed, and I used it last night, and it was good. Stayed in place nicely, kept me fairly warm and insulated, and in the morning, like right now, it was easy to fold up and throw back under my bed. Uh, so good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Wednesday morning. It is December 31st. Oh my gosh. It is 5:01 a.m. Happy Wednesday. And I don't know if I said this is Coffee with Ken, but it is. Coffee with Ken is a show that I have done for quite some time. And it's a show about me talking, kind of sharing some feelings, sharing some adventures, kind of sharing, I don't know, the story of one man as he navigates his life, trying to make the best decisions for he and his family as possible. While admittedly stepping on a couple landmines as I navigate my path. But for those that have been watching a while, you know this is not just a show about me talking. Good morning, Opal. For those that have been watching a while, you know it's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And by the way, I'm cracking open the Black Rifle Beyond Black coffee this morning. And I'm looking forward to it. I almost ran myself out of coffee over the last, I don't know, month or so. I think I peaked at like having 10 bags of coffee in my cupboard, which is just too much coffee. Believe it. For a guy with a show called Coffee with Ken, for me to be saying I had too much coffee, let me tell you, it was a problem. Every morning I look and I go, crap, what coffee am I gonna choose? And more often than not, I'd end up picking the pumpkin spice because pumpkin spice is awesome. But anyway, I ran myself down to almost nothing. And the other day I went out and picked up a couple bags, a Seattle's Best sea salt toffee coffee, which I've enjoyed the last few days, and this Black Rifle Beyond Black that I've enjoyed in the past and I'm prepared to enjoy with you this morning. But anyway, as I was saying, this is not just a show about me talking. For those that have been watching a while, you know it's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I just poured myself a nice hot cup of coffee. And I am so excited at this crazy early hour on New Year's Eve to have my first sip. And my hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. That is really nice. I'm not sure how they make a dark coffee or a black coffee dark roast extra special. But let me tell you, they did. Again, it's got a different flavor than just the Sumatra, which I usually drink, the Starbucks Sumatra. But again, for anyone looking for a new coffee, it's a little pricey. I mean, it was maybe $10.99 a bag, which is more than I like to spend, but I'm worth it. And so are you. Hello, you all. I'm tempted for a couple things. First of all, I just threw on my fire. There's my fire. Turning on my fire. Provide a little warmth, a little light to my room. Tempted to shut off that big bright light behind me. It's so early in the morning, and don't know if we need all this light on New Year's Eve. And if I head out at this hour on New Year's Eve, it's gonna be a long day for me. So you guys can feel sorry for me. Please do. Couple things I'm tempted about doing. Definitely better light a candle. Maybe we can leave the light on. That's kind of fun. I don't do it very often. All right, I was planning to only light one candle, and I think I know where I'm going with this. I have one that's just about empty and one that's got most of its life left. I was gonna ask, which candle do I light? Which candle would you light in this situation? And my answer, I don't know if my answer will be your answer, but is, what the heck, let's light both. Rather than kind of just milk that one. Let's get some real flame going. But no, if we're gonna do that, I almost need to shut off that spotlight behind me. No wonder I can't sleep. I have all these thoughts going on. Is this a former school or something? Oh, you asked if it's a converted building. No, it kind of has that vibe of it's an old building. It's on the National Registry of Historic Places. It's an awesome, awesome apartment building in Appleton, Wisconsin. It used to be a newspaper. I don't know. They used to print newspapers here. And I think the newspaper that was printed here is called the Post-Crescent, which still is in existence. But obviously, they no longer make the newspaper here. Oh, that's so much nicer. That is so much nicer. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know if we need it here or not, or if my candles are in vision line, or if you guys can actually see what that is. Sometimes I gotta break out the gong to, I don't know, bring some fear of God into you folks. To cop on and say silly things on my show and disrupt my otherwise kind audience. Let's see. Let us see. So I'm gonna sip a little coffee. I look like Bruce, that actor. That's what I hear. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you today? Your friend used to work at a newspaper printing facility and he's got his hand stuck. Okay. All right. Good morning, Sad Man Islam. How are you? How are you? So it's early. It is very early on this Wednesday morning. And again, we get an international audience. That's what's neat about social media. You go live and they put you out, your show, whatever your show is, to all over the world. I got Rebecca Tilley here from Australia tuning in on New Year's Eve, who says she's not feeling that well. Yeah. But anyway, where was I? I forget. It's early. Probably too early to be on. My name's Ken Tracy, and I'm coming at you from Appleton, Wisconsin. I am going to be working. I have 3 jobs currently, and they're all in a state of flux because I'm considering relocating to Central Illinois to be closer to my 2 beautiful little ones. And I currently have 2 jobs. One's as a waiter, one's as a bartender, and one is a substitute teacher. I get a lot of joy. I mean, joy might be overstating it, but a lot of good feelings when I work as a substitute teacher. And I really don't get any at the specific restaurants I'm working at as a bartender and a waiter. Tonight I'm going to be working as a waiter. I think we're having an event at our restaurant, a New Year's event, and it's going to be work from 4. It says we're going to be off at 11:30, but I have a hard time believing that. I'm assuming if it's a New Year's event, it's going to go past midnight, and it could be a late one. And given the fact that I woke up at like 3 or 3:30 this morning, I'm somewhat concerned about my ability to keep going and be working hard late into the night tonight unless I'm able to find a little bit of rest between now and my time for work. So prayers for a little rest and a toast for a little rest as well. Hello, Custard from Canada. How are you? Mama said she's a teacher. She's glad I'm subbing. And every district in America needs subs. Apparently they do. That's actually how I got into it, Mama. I was working at a supper club, which is a restaurant this summer, as a waiter, and a couple ladies I worked with, one of them was a school teacher in a local school district, and said they need subs, especially strong male substitute teachers, because I don't know, I think in the educational system there's especially at the lower grades, there's certainly a tendency for most of the teachers to be women, and I've seen that in my limited experience. And they told me, hey, you should do it, you'd be great. They need men, they need bodies, but they need men specifically. And I kind of started looking into it. I ended up leaving this restaurant and started working at a school district maybe 2 months, 6 weeks ago now in the area. And I've only done it 7 times, but it's been really good for me. One of the challenges with substitute teaching is if you're relying on it for any sort of steady revenue, schools shut down around Christmas and obviously in the summer as well. Right now I'm on Christmas break, or winter break, if you will, and my schools are shut down and my restaurants are almost shut down, and I haven't had a whole heck of a lot of work to do over the last week and a half, and that's going to continue till next Monday when the schools open back up, and I'm looking forward to that. Sadman says he heard in the news the number of male teachers has decreased. That seems to be. And again, the very first day I went in and I did not know what grades I was going to be teaching. It was my first day and it said like 4K on it, on the school. Again, I don't know if you know, you don't get hired by a school if you're a substitute teacher. Good morning, Julie Flanagan. You don't get hired by a school. You get hired by a school district, and you can work at various schools in the district. And my first day, I took a job at a 4K school, which to me, I figured was little kids like kindergarten through 4th grade, basically elementary school, we call it around here. But in Wisconsin, they have, in the public school system, they have younger than kindergarten schools, and I was teaching at a 4K school, which means 4-year-olds. And I went in and I sat in the office, and there was all these little tiny midget chairs. I know midget's not politically correct, but I'm just talking about little kids. So I apologize to any little people out there. But anyway, little tiny chairs in the office, and I'm going, what the heck? What kind of people do they have here? And it was really cute that first day, teaching. I mean, I was more kind of overseeing and having fun with them on recess and organizing races, and then they all piled on me and tackled me and brought me down, and I'm sure we were violating rules, but roughhousing a little bit at recess, and that was a lot of fun. Let's see, you are in a community college, so most of your colleagues were male due to the courses being taught. Yeah, obviously, if certain courses seem to have a tendency towards, I don't know, males, and some seem to have a tendency towards females. And I think in the younger years, certainly there's, in that first school, I think there was one gentleman that worked in there. And it was funny because I'd be talking and I'm kind of loud, and they'd hear a male voice, the other teachers, and they'd go, hey, who's that? That's not Joe who normally works here. That's some other voice. I don't recognize it. And then they would come and look and stare at me, the teachers and the kids alike. What are you doing here? What happened to your hair? It was really cute. Yeah, it's rare to have males in the younger grades. I've worked once in high school, once in middle school, which is junior high, we used to call it. And the rest of the time has been in fourth grade and under. So I guess that's only 5 other times. But I've had a lot of, I think I'm real good. My first wife was excited to hear about my substitute teaching. I think my 2 older daughters thought that was neat, that I was going to be working in a school. And my first wife reached out and said, how I always did real well with the littles, as she phrased it. And I think, look, I'm kind of a big kid, and I'm playful, and I like coloring and piling blocks and going to recess and going down slides and being on a swing. And I want the kids to enjoy school as much as they can. I might not, I don't know. I think I could teach high school level and teach science or math or Spanish or history for sure at a higher level. But I think for me, what's important is having the kids enjoy school as much as possible. Because I think if they're happy and they like being there, they have a better chance to learn something while they're there. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Julie, I'm drinking the Beyond Black coffee. Who makes the Beyond Black coffee? Black Rifle? Is that what it's called? Black Rifle, Beyond Black? It is nice, Julie. I haven't had it in a while. But anyway, so I woke up early this morning. I kind of went to bed fairly early, but I woke up in the 3s. I think it might have been closer to 3 than later. And closer to 3 than 4. I think and I talk about it on the show, turning our fears over to God and our anxieties and our stuff, and the tug of war that can be in our mind between fear and faith. And I think, again, I'm on a faith journey, if you will, and over the last 6 years, I've done pretty well at giving my worries and my fears and my problems over to God, whatever that means to you. Interpret it as you will. But over the last week or so, I've struggled with that and have been kind of consumed by fear and not done as good of a job having faith that things will be okay, or saying, hey, God, give me the strength to get through this, or praying, or believing that things are going to be okay. And because of that, I've walked around with a heavier mind and heart than I like over the last few days. And I felt myself doing it again this morning, worrying about what's going to happen, worrying about my family and the things I love the most. And that's kind of weighed on me a lot. And woke up a little bit early today and tried to figure out, again, I'm always trying to crack the code and figure out the best things for me to do to make everything okay. And a lot of times the answer to that's not there for you, and your mind just starts running in an endless circle, and worry turns to panic, turns to stress, and anxiety turns to depression. And honestly, I felt myself kind of going down that path a little bit of late, and it's not a good feeling. We're going to turn it to subscriber only. I got my friend Julie, who's a moderator on this channel, having to do more work than she should have to at this early hour. I don't want her having to, I want her to be able to enjoy her coffee and listen to our little chat on this New Year's Eve. She shouldn't have to be doing all the work. Julie, I brought out the gong. I don't even know why. I think mainly for effect, because it looks pretty. The shimmering metallic gong itself flickering in the candlelight. I almost sound poetic describing the gong. I mean, I like to think the gong is only able to be used, should not be used unless I'm really lowering the hammer on a viewer. But perhaps the gong can be the hammer to keep my viewers in line, as well as the instrument, musical instrument that it is. It's hard for me not to go, Om. 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 I say that, I think about yoga class. I joined the YMCA, I think it was like August. I was bored with my gym. I was working out in my basement, lifting, doing curls and dumbbells and stuff like that in this very unattractive basement gym. Very bare bones. And I went for a long walk one day, and on my walk, I walked by the YMCA just a couple blocks that way. And I went in, got the tour, and I joined that day. And they got a bunch of good classes. They got basketball courts and spinning classes and pickleball and a swimming pool and fitness classes. And I've only done 2 yoga classes since I've joined. But I'll tell you what, it's nice to know it's there and it's available to me even if I don't use it, if that makes any sense. Last night I considered, yesterday I considered going to the gym, and ended up, there was a yoga class at 7 o'clock at night. That seems crazy late for me. I mean, I'm usually going to bed about 8. I don't go out partying, even if it's to a yoga class at 7 o'clock at night. You gotta get a crowbar to get me out the door at past 5 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? I want to throw a little love to my Flying Illini football team, who put a serious beat down on the Tennessee Volunteers yesterday at the Music City Bowl. I have a longtime viewer who lives in Tennessee, who sent me a message on Facebook like half an hour before the game going, oh, big game tonight. I think she might have gone to the University of Tennessee. She watches all of my videos after the fact, so you know who you are. Illinois gave you guys a beatdown and won last night in the game. But either way, she told me to watch the game, and I said, oh, yeah, it might be. And then I sent her a message about half an hour later and said, hey, Illinois tied the game or is up 10-7. And she goes, oh, sorry, I'm busy working. Like suddenly, she was too cool to watch the game. And 40 minutes later, she was messaging me frantically to make sure I watched. When the smile on my face and in my eyes when I hit the gong is lovely. Perhaps when my thoughts are going in the panic direction of earlier, just hit the gong. Well, perhaps, but then I might need to be carrying this around at work or in bed, and I'd be tapping on that. And I believe my neighbor's bedroom and my bedroom shares a wall. Don't ask me how I know. And I wouldn't want to wake her up by gonging during the night. Looks like your house is doing much better than when I first found your channel. It was empty back then. Now you build it up. Well, thank you. You got a cup of that good Folgers to end the year. And you might get the good stuff to start out the new year tomorrow. Well, I'll tell you what, you are worth the good stuff. Steve watches videos. I mean, if you consider the Folgers good stuff, have at it. But yeah, you have at it. Don't you try and bring it over to my house. You've been watching me every day for the past couple days. I always pop up on your screen. You enjoy what I have to say. It's positive, and that is all that you associate with positivity. Well, thank you so much for watching. It's funny you say positive. Again, I went live yesterday, and I almost couldn't talk. I was frozen with fear, and I just sat here and stared at the fireplace and kind of quietly expressed the fear that was in my heart. Jim Rat believes Folgers is best used as compost in the garden. I don't know that anybody really considers Folgers the good stuff. Is Folgers the instant coffee, or does Folgers have an instant coffee? Is Folgers the kind that comes in the, yeah, Folgers, don't get me started. The big red tub, or maybe even that huge red steel can. You know, if that's what you got, that's what you got. And I think it's important to be thankful for what you got. But I'm thankful for my Black Rifle Beyond Black coffee I'm drinking today. Yeah, the big red tub. Folgers has both, but do you think most people put it in coffee maker? You have a friend that lives in Florida. He absolutely loves Folgers. My stomach just rumbled in disgust at the concept of somebody absolutely loving Folgers. You know, if you don't know any better and you're price sensitive, and most of us are a little price sensitive, I guess you could see doing it. But we all know better. We're all adults here. We shouldn't even be talking about it. It's crazy talk. So it's 5:30 in the morning. Julie says she needs to order some Black Rifle. Do you buy all your coffee online, Julie? I guess you were telling me the other day that you live off in the country and you don't have stores around you. So maybe you do order it online. The Amazon guy must hate to see Julie Flanagan's name come up. Oh crap, I gotta drive out there. Drop off one bag of coffee. Here you go, Julie. Why don't you buy two, save me a trip? Why do Americans love Starbucks so much? In Australia, the sizes are massive, drinks are super sweet, and really expensive. Starbucks aren't popular at all here in Australia. Why do we love Starbucks so much? I think it's a solid chain. You know what you're getting. The price is reasonable. Kids like it because they can get all sorts of fancy schmancy lattes and I don't know, whatever else they get. I like it because it's usually pretty clean. The Wi-Fi is free. Often they'll do coffee refills, and I usually know the people that work there because I frequent various Starbucks in whatever area I live. Another reason life is good in 2025, 26, because the abundance of good coffee out there. Well, we are blessed with good coffee. Dustin likes chicory coffee. I don't know what chicory coffee is, but it sounds pleasing. Jerry Wood said Canadians. I'm assuming, Jerry, does that mean you are a Canadian? But she says Canadians love Tim Hortons. What am I doing for New Year's? Oh, I'm going to be working. To be honest, I'm pleased with that because it should be busy. We should have an opportunity to make a little money, which I desperately need. And if I wasn't working tonight, I'd probably just go to bed early. I'd probably do what I do every other night, which is kind of watch a movie or a documentary and drift off to sleep. Yesterday, you're a British Columbia girl. Is British Columbia on the left or the right? Also known as the West or the East. Somebody asked me earlier in the show, what do I think about what's going on in Minnesota? And I'm not totally sure what's going on in Minnesota. And I've heard some things about daycare and what have you. But I was wondering why it would be specific to Minnesota. Whatever is going on in Minnesota, why it is specifically happening in Minnesota confused me. What are my top coffee brands? I don't know, Starbucks, Black Rifle. Maybe, and then whatever else seems good of a reasonable quality. I got a bag of Seattle's Best in there that I'm enjoying. Had an interesting flavor I wanted to try. And yeah, I mean, I think Starbucks is what I by far get the most. But again, I think Black Rifle makes an awesome coffee, and it's called Beyond Black, and that's what I'm drinking in front of you today. Chicory is a root plant like ginger, said Sad Man. Is it a root plant? Yeah, I guess. What is the bark? Was it hickory? Is there a hickory bark? I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to like peel off bark from our trees and soak them in water if that's possible and put it in the barbecue and give it a more seasoned flavor. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. What is my favorite coffee drink at Starbucks? I normally just get coffee and I put cream in it, and I usually get a venti and sit there with a venti ice water. And edit videos for a couple hours. Yesterday, I was a little more purposeful with my video editing. I ended up going live total between an afternoon and a morning one for about 3 hours. And I've been, it's a constant push and pull with me to create content. I think the best way for me to grow my page is by going live. My audience, I pick up between 5 and 15 subscribers, pretty much every live. So for me to grow my audience, which is important to grow my channel and grow Coffee with Ken and hopefully make a difference, I need to go live a lot. But when I go live a lot, I have to balance that out with editing some videos on the other end and producing shorts and reels and TikToks that also help grow my audience as well. And yesterday I did some very purposeful video editing, and I think rather than do it in just little bits and pieces, a minute here, a minute there, which I often talk about as one bite at a time, I think it makes sense for me to sit and maybe watch the fireplace crackle and just listen to me talk via video and find some good quality video bits to create, again, reels, TikToks, and shorts. Chicory was used during the Great Depression in order to stretch the coffee out and save some money, but it became a taste that one gets used to, an acquired taste. His and Her Landscaping says wood chips. Yeah, but it wasn't just wood chips that we did. We had a type of bark that we would peel off, and it had like a reddishness in it. So it wasn't just wood chips. It was definitely bark. We had these type of trees in our yard that the bark would start coming off regularly, like it looked like it's shedding its bark. And I think we used it in the barbecue when I was a kid. Sadman says, although I have to work today, you hope I have an amazing end of the year. Well, I think it's going to be as amazing as I make it. My hope is to have a fairly good live show with you this morning. Probably go to the gym and get one last workout. My lower back's a little sore, so I'm probably going to do the bench and what have you. Somebody has a suggestion for my shorts. Nice produced intro of me showing my coffee, what coffee it is, making your first sip. My skipper, that sounds like a whole lot of stuff. A nice produced intro for my shorts. I mean, it might be a great idea, but I just don't see me doing that, a nice produced intro. I sometimes will push out 5 shorts in a day, and to make a different intro for each short. And if it's the same intro, I don't know why anyone would want to watch it, really. Maybe, I mean, you might be right, but I just don't see it happening. Cathos Prime is in the house. She can't sleep. It's the last day before you no longer have a teenager. How long have I been doing these shows? In one form or other, 6 years, 6.5 years. And every year is more glorious than the next. Julie Flanagan understands, Cathos. I mean, I almost understand. Although, no, my oldest is still a teenager. You know what you can do to fix that? You crank out a couple more. That's what I did. I've got a 19 and a 16-year-old, but I also have a 4 and a 3-year-old. So I have a long time ahead of me to enjoy even preteens and tweens and all those things. Where do I work? I work at 2 restaurants, and I work at a local school district as a substitute teacher currently. And I'm considering relocating to Central Illinois And I think that's been weighing heavily on me too, doing a job search, but having a lot of uncertainty to be closer to my little ones. I'm gonna get a little more coffee. You guys check out my fireplace. Oh. Ooh. Looks so icy outside. And we got snow, but it wasn't like gorgeous snow last night. And I don't know if you can really see, that's the parking lot right across the from my apartment building. And it looks like a crunchy, icy snow that we got last night. So not the beautiful, fluffy stuff that you and I both love. Oh. Ooh, gotta bring it back to me. Hello, Azaki Sanders. How are you? Wow. Had a problem with my coffee cup. Almost tipped over. Hold on here. Good enough. The money in the manufacturing job market. Well, I don't know. Money is in the manufacturing job market. Like what? What does that mean? Like working in a factory? Building things? I'm not really great with my hands. I don't even know what you mean by manufacturing. I mean, I understand what manufacturing means to make something, but I don't exactly know what you mean. I'm picturing Will Ferrell in like the movie Elf when he's trying to make the dolls, but he can't do it as quickly as the little baby elves. So they had him doing other things, putting the star on the Christmas tree and what have you. Dustin said hello from the Windy City. James Cronin is saying Ford. Jim Rat says he thinks the economy is doing poorly in most states for most blue-collar workers like yourself. Blue-collar worker. Does that mean you're in a trade, Jim Rat? Does that mean you're in a trade? Like, are you a plumber or a carpenter or something like that? Or, like, what's a blue-collar worker? I mean, to me, I picture a tradesman when you say blue-collar worker. But is a waiter a blue-collar worker? Is that blue-collar? Cap Connor said there's a ton of money in sales once you get good at selling. Oh, that's nice. We've got a glorious audience this morning. We got 40, we had 46 people watching. Now we have 42, but I'll pretend we still have 46 because the math works better. And we had 23 thumbs up, and I'm appreciative of those thumbs up. You'd say with what you make and with what your wife makes weekly, not necessarily in a trade, you're a truck driver who drives a route Monday through Friday. And you're not, and the economy's bad if you're in, as a truck driver? Because, again, I was looking at some jobs in Central Illinois yesterday on this website, Indeed. And there were a ton of jobs for is it CDL, what do they say? I don't know what a CDL stands for, but I assume for some reason, I think it's truck driving. Have I ever been to Italy, Greece, or Turkey? And tried their coffees? No. No, I've never been to Italy, Greece, or Turkey and tried or not tried their coffees. But I think going to Italy, Greece, and Turkey would be cool. You don't need a ton of money, just a job you love. Well, I like that, Julie Flanagan. A commercial driver's license, that's what CDL stands for. Thank you. I think it varies depending on where people live. You're a Class B driver, not a Class A, which you're restricted in several ways on what you can drive. All right. So Jim Rat, is that why maybe you drive at off hours or odd hours in my mind or something? Because you're like, you're on my show right now and you're out in California and it is 3:46 in California. And sometimes I'll find you at the gym at like 2 in the morning. Just want me to hit my gong. It's not just for getting rid of bad people anymore. Now it's also a music, it's a percussion instrument. I think I'm going to try out for a rock band. Seen a lot. Oop, there goes my guys to work today. I don't know if you watched yesterday morning. Saw guys going to work at this time yesterday morning, and they're going again today. And then I went live in the afternoon, and they were getting done with work. Truck drivers do more than just drive. If they don't do what they do, the economy would suffer tremendously. Well, I don't think anyone doubts that truck drivers are very valuable to the economy. You get up Monday through Friday around 2 a.m. and you head to work. So is that what you're doing right now, Jim Rat? You're up and you're headed to work? Like, are you driving to work? Are you listening to me while you're driving? Are you watching me? Can you go over the seat? Do they still have CBs? I mean, I think the coolest thing about being a truck driver, other than if you're driving a big one, you could maybe camp in the back, but would be talking on the CBs. You are welcome to practice on your drums. I mean, honestly, I almost missed the cymbal by doing this. Ooh, that was kind of loud. See, I'm kind of jumpy. You're watching me and driving, all right. I mean, I don't know. I hope you're safe on the roads. Hopefully you don't have icy roads like we do here. You drive a small truck. It doesn't have a sleeper. Like, what's a small truck? I mean, it's not like a van, like a UPS van. It's still a truck. So it still has a front, and you're hauling something, I'm assuming. I'm surprised Jim Rat isn't driving the truck, watching me, and doing curls while he's doing it. He's so multitaskable. A small truck to you is 30,000 pounds. I guess I don't know what that looks like, but is it an 18-wheeler? But it just doesn't have one of those huge front things that with the cab, and the cab is like where there's a mattress in back. Who needs to buy an RV? Just become a truck driver. Live on the road. Six wheels. So, all right. A day cab. Would I ever go back to being a realtor? No. What did I like and dislike about it? I'm almost too bored for that conversation. What did I dislike about it? What I like about it, not having to punch in. Big paychecks. What did I dislike about it? A lot of things. That most of the job was connected to generating business. I never was successful enough that the business just flowed in. But honestly, I don't think most realtors are. I think most people don't understand. They think everyone makes a lot of money selling real estate. That's not true. I'm telling you, most people don't. Most people struggle and most people fall out of the business. 1 out of 50 probably does really well. But I never felt I was making a big difference in the world as a realtor. I thought I had to pretend. I couldn't do this. I couldn't be myself and just kind of let my hair hang down, if you will. How's the economy in my area, just based on your own personal experience and people you talk to? I think the economy's just fine. I look at jobs every day. I apply to some. There's always a bunch of jobs, available, but I don't know. I think the economy's fairly fine. I still think across the country people can't afford housing. And I think there's still a growing divide amongst the haves and the have-nots in the world, but it's caused by a spiraling upward stock market more than anything. Because most people probably don't have a big portion of their wealth put into the stock market. So when the stock market goes up, it doesn't really impact most of us, but it impacts the people at the top of the income or net worth levels, and puts them in a position to buy up huge swaths of housing or land or what have you, and make housing more harder to afford. But I think the economy is I don't know, it seems fine. I met a friend out for lunch, and the shopping mall was crowded the other day before Christmas, or the day after Christmas, or before. There are a lot of jobs, but jobs that pay a fair wage is another story. Steve, what does a fair wage mean to you? I'm going to get dragged in, and all of a sudden Flanagan's going to be yelling at me. But what's a fair wage? Have I thought of teaching courses on the internet? I don't know. No, I haven't thought of teaching courses on the internet. I don't know what I would teach on the internet. Plus, a lot of the joy I get from teaching is hanging out with a bunch of kids. Enough to raise a family, own a house, save a little, and maybe a vacation every 2 years. Okay, well, but when you say fair, Steve, fair to me implies you're getting paid adequate. But what's adequate? A fair wage. So you're saying like a living wage. That's a whole. So you're saying that there's like lower level jobs, like jobs for maybe seasonal jobs or high school kid jobs or minimum wage jobs, but jobs to provide a family for harder to come by. Is that what you're saying? Apparently. Hello, Tammy Riley from Australia. We have $16 minimum wage going up to $18 next year in October. I'm not a fan. I don't believe in minimum waging our way out of it. The problem that I hear with people looking for jobs, specifically on Indeed, there might be a ton of jobs in the general realm of what they're looking for and what they qualify for, but getting an interview is a different story. Well, I think there's something a little screwy with the whole job application process. It's easy to apply for a job, and it's easy, I can apply for 20 jobs in a day fairly easy on Indeed. 20 might be a lot. But with AI and technology and the internet, you can have AI rewrite your resume and craft it towards a specific field, and you can upload the resume and you can upload the cover letter and send it off in a hurry, versus when I was a kid, you had to I mean, I think you had to mail in a resume or drop it off at the door. And when you dropped off a resume at the door, I think they had to take the applicant a little bit more seriously because they were there. But I think there's a lot of applying for jobs, applicants and jobs available that are almost don't really exist, if you will. Because, if I'm applying, and I probably applied to 10 jobs in the last 5 days or something like that at least, I'm not going to work at most of them. So my applications are almost poofs of air anyway. And I think that creates a feeling of frustration. Again, I was applying for a job yesterday and I was going, do I even want to bother applying? It kind of fits what I'm doing. It's in an area I'd be good at, but I'm probably never going to hear anything back. And I mean, this has maybe always been the case. I think it's probably always been the case. It's probably always been somewhat challenging to get a job, but I almost, I look back to the olden days and movies where, I don't know, I'm picturing a couple Irish guys in a movie on a dock going up to the foreman or whatever saying, hey, do you need work today? And those certainly weren't glorious times for the worker then as well, because they could get thrown out and had no protections whatsoever. And we're always looking for work, and those were hard times where people were boiling potatoes and cabbage in a big pot to feed a family. So I don't think we should go back to that time. I guess looking for jobs has always kind of sucked. His and her landscaping helper pays $30 an hour. I wonder. You'd say a living wage is making enough in a particular area to pay your rent, electric bill, car insurance, health insurance, food, gas, etc. Well, that's what a living wage is, Jim Rat. But somebody used the term a fair wage earlier. And I know what a living wage is, where you can pay your bills, basically. But somebody said a fair wage, and I was wondering what that meant. You have to work 2 jobs, and with clocking 50 to 80 hours a week, you feel financially stressed. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Steve watches videos. Pure stupidity is $20 an hour for fast food workers. Welcome to California. See, I think that's interesting. Should fast food workers be making $20 an hour? Again, is this just inflation? Do the numbers we're throwing around even matter anymore? Because $20 an hour is 40 grand a year, and that's in the fast food industry. When I got out of college with a finance degree, the people with a degree from a good university were getting jobs at like $29,000 a year, so less than a fast food worker. My point is, with inflation and things changing, do the numbers we're throwing around even matter? Steve is working 58 hours a week, stressed about money, and he went to college. Would think a fair wage would depend on where you live. The cost of living varies from place to place. But again, is a fair wage a living wage? Is that the same thing? Back when you were a kid, you actually walked into the business, picked up an application, filled it out, went back to the business, turned it in, and had a sit-down interview with management. I still do that whenever I can if I'm looking for like a waiter job or what have you. But yeah, they now have a shield up and they say, oh, go to our website and fill one out online. And I prefer not to do that. Jim Rat, I think you're 52 years old, if memory serves. Yeah, you've noticed that is the toughest thing about applying. You spend so much time applying just to get rejected. All right. Oh, wow, you always thought you were in America for some reason. You're in Brisbane. The job market is looking for 40 years old and up because they sew up show up for work. Okay, kids don't show up for work is what you're saying? Jim Rat thinks employers should be able to pay whatever they want. And if somebody wants to work there for that wage, then they can. And if they don't, then they don't have to. I'm glad Jim Rat says that, because I agree with that too, Jim Rat. I just don't want to get yelled at by Julie Flanagan. How many jobs in the UK pay very little? Minimum wage in the UK is around $17. Cathos Prime remembers $2 a year ago when my sister was an assistant manager and she only got paid $7. Apply to GE and Resource Department. Resource Department at GE. It's truly been a glorious audience this morning. The one thing I'm sure we can all agree on is the glory that is the audience. So, when I sign off with you fine folk, do I head right out to the gym? Get a workout in? Go to a coffee shop? Go donate plasma? Come back here, sleep? Eat something? Rest up for my work later today? It is one of the best audiences we've ever seen. Back in the late 90s, hold on here, you got paid $480 per week, AUD, I don't know what that means, Australian dollars, and that was plenty back then to live on and pay rent. In the late 90s, $500 a week, $2,000 a month, that was plenty. I don't know, was that plenty? No kidding, my mom bought her home for $65K. It's not worth at least $2 million. It's now worth at least $2 million. Makes some sense. Good morning, Alex Shaw. How are you today? Sad Man recommends I get some sleep. Did I say donate plasma? I may have. Just an opinion. A living wage covers the cost of living, while a fair wage is compensation for the value of the work done. Yeah, I kind of agree. And I don't know that most jobs we do, including mine, including substitute teaching or waiting tables or bartending, were ever meant to be a living wage. Although, honestly, the reason I wait tables and substitute teaching is they're actually can pay a living wage. You can make fairly good money in terms of maybe, I don't know, $35 an hour or something like that as a waiter or a bartender, which can cover bills for one that doesn't know what they want to do or can't figure out how to put their diploma to work. Good morning, Richard Sternicle. How are you? Alex Shaw is very ready for the New Year's. Do I have any New Year's resolutions? I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think if you want to make a change, do it now, do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow morning. You know, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. Living wage depends on your financial responsibilities. Yeah, no, I think I understand what a living wage is, Richard, but somebody brought up a fair wage earlier, that they can't get a job with a fair wage. And to me, again, I apologize in advance, Flanagan, don't yell at me. A fair wage is what is determined when you accept a job and when a boss offers a job and you come to an agreement on what you're being paid. Uh, otherwise, what's fair mean in terms of being paid what you're worth? I just don't understand what a fair wage means. I'm sorry, Alex Shaw. I don't have any great New Year's resolutions. I just don't do them. I kind of, I want to go to the gym today, even though it's the last day of the year. I want to go to work today. I want to be kinder to myself. I want to pray. I want to reach out and connect with all my little ones. I want to be awesome today. All right, I want to start today, whatever I want to. I'm not going to wait to start tomorrow. I just realized the time that I did not sleep last night. It's 7 a.m. Yeah, again, I just didn't know what a fair wage meant. If a fair wage means a living wage, I don't know even, and again, I'm going to say it to myself, I don't know that given my financial responsibilities and costs of living, am making a living wage doing my work. But I can't blame the economy or society for it, because I wouldn't expect the work I'm doing to cover my financial responsibilities. I've got myself into a situation and I'm trying to work my way out of it. But I wouldn't expect my employers to pay me more because I need more money to pay my bills. I guess that's what I'm saying. And it seems a chunk of society is blaming the economy or their employers for not paying them more so they can live the life they want to live. And, sure, I'd like to make more doing what I'm doing. But I put it on me to find a higher paying job, to work more hours, to do whatever I need to do to make up the money. How does cost of living compare to Illinois? You mean in Wisconsin versus Illinois? I would say where I live in Wisconsin, cost of living is somewhat comparable to central Illinois. But where I was living in the suburbs of Chicago, where Rich is watching from and where I grew up, the home I'm living in right now, this apartment here costs like $1,200, and in the suburbs of Chicago, it'd probably be $3,000. So, and that's part of why I live here. I was a realtor and I left real estate 3 years ago, which I don't regret. My income was spotty. I'd have big checks and no checks, and that was a hard way to live, and I don't miss that at all. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was 53 years old, and I didn't have a bunch of jobs knocking at my door. So I started working as a waiter, and I couldn't cover my financial responsibilities and keep a roof over my head. So here I am in Wisconsin, covering my financial responsibilities with a roof over my head. Kat Connor says, your cost of living dropped 30% when you left the Chicago suburbs. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's expensive to live in the suburbs. It's expensive to live in Illinois. Even gas is 50 cents more a gallon in Illinois than it is in Wisconsin. And it's all because state taxes. So for anybody, again, red state, blue state. I think of the three biggest blue states. I think of California, New York, and Illinois. And they probably all have the highest cost of living. Am I wrong? They might provide, again, I have a son with Down syndrome, and do appreciate the services that Illinois provides for the special needs kids in Illinois. But it'd be hard to not acknowledge that the highest cost of living seems to be in the bluest states. Richard Sternicle says Illinois taxes everything. Yeah, they seem to. They seem to. What's going on with Tammy? Everyone's happy for Tammy. Going to be big changes. For my son, we found an agency that was designed to help special needs so we can get him a casual job. All right, well, way to go, Tammy Riley and son. You'll be 50. Tammy, but see, Tammy, you're 49 right now, so you're a very old 40-something. What you don't know is when you turn 50, suddenly you're going to become one of the young 50-somethings. So my point is, the way to always feel younger is hang out with older people, and pretty soon you're going to be in the old people, in the 50-somethings, and you're going to look relatively young compared to the 58-year-old that I will be. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. So, it is Wednesday morning. It is New Year's Eve. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I would feel good if I went right to the gym and got my workout in early today, I think. And that part would be over there. And then I could take care of whatever else I needed to do, video editing, maybe plasma donation, maybe eating, maybe resting, because I'm going to be working tonight. But I'd have the rest of the day to take care of that before I go to work this afternoon. And that might be prudent. But, to be honest, I'd have to hang up with you, this glorious audience that we have today, put on my clothes and head on over to the gym, and it looks really cold and icy out there. You know, if I could just be there, I'm not afraid at all of the actual process of the benching and the curling and everything else. It's the getting over there that I'm afraid of. Jerry says, you work for yourself, scrap and metal and freelance graphic design. You call your income a fair wage. You are fairly compensated for the effort you do or do not do, put in. All right, because, Jerry, you are what we might call an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, you are paid a fair wage, and you seem to be willing to take total responsibility for the money you do or do not make. Is that what I'm reading? I think that's kind of, I like that attitude. And if you're an employee, I don't know if you can blame your employer or the government or the economy even for not working out better for you. All right. Well, Tammy Riley, welcome to the 50s. Welcome to the 50s. It's going to be great. We're going to party together all the time. God, I was a realtor. There's like senior living communities, like our 55 and up. And I go, I could live in a senior living community? Suddenly I'm being paid I'm shuffleboarding. Tammy, there's some snow out there, but it's not currently snowing. It looks more like ice. It's not very pretty out there. Do you want to see? You probably do want to see, but I caution you, Tammy. You're almost in your 50s. You're not a spring chicken anymore. Be careful you don't slip and fall on the ice that's out there. Again, it was snowing. It looked like it was snowing pretty hard, but I think it was a wet snow, and I think it's turned out to be cold and kind of crispy and icy out there. Let's see. I don't know if you can see the road beneath me. I don't know. Looks kind of icy. Be careful, Tammy Riley. If you find yourself heading, I'm going to get one more cup of coffee. It's not even because okay, I'll be honest. It's not even because I want to talk to you or because we have a glorious audience. It's because I don't know if I want to go out there and work out just yet. And again, I'm not afraid to work out. I mean, I'm not really afraid of going to the gym, but just going in at 6 in the morning seems like something a madman like Gym Rat would do, not a normal, regular guy like me. Oh. Hey, you guys are way low now. Cat Connor, you are in a similar position as Jerry. You work your butt off. You can clear $1,000 a day if you can also make 0. All right. Uh-oh, almost removed Tammy Riley. Oh, almost removed Tammy Riley again. Do you have to drive to the gym in the snow, Ken, or can I walk? Oh, I can walk. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 blocks. It's like a 7-minute walk, maybe. It's not bad. But I usually wear my, the sweatpants I wear are like this micro fabric that if the wind blows, it's cold on my legs. I could do it. It wouldn't be hard. I'd feel good if I did it. Wait, hold on here. His and Hers Landscaping. That's how your job is. Sometimes you make 20 grand in a day. Sometimes you make $200. Sometimes you make 0. Brian, did you ever, I know months ago you were considering a new path in careers for you. I wonder if you have decided landscaping is still where it's at for you. Matthew says the gym is too crowded at 6 a.m. I doubt it. You don't slip and break a hip. Is my gym going to be open tomorrow? I do not know, Jim Rat, if my gym is. I doubt it. It's the YMCA, and they were closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas, so I doubt they'll be open tomorrow. So I better go and get huge today because I don't want to take 2 days off, although you did see me doing some push-ups yesterday. I don't like push-ups. I just don't like the way it feels. You're still going to do the property fitness. You need some sort of physical location. You're finding it harder that one and only child will also be 19, the last of his teen years. You and Cathos Prime should get together, and Julie Flanagan can be the senior spokesperson on what it feels like to have no kids in their 20s. Or we could all just crank out more. I don't know if we can all crank out more, but I cranked out more to avoid this situation. Jerry said they decided decades ago that no one had the right to tell me what you're worth, so going on 30 years of self-directed employment, you still agree with that choice. You're 55. We really have a sweet spot in the 50s of this crew. Good morning, Narendra. Oh, Narendra, who's 56. Hope I have a great new year and all my prayers answered. I do too, Narendra. I do too. Have I ever tried any diets? Or do I just exercise? I mean, I don't know what you mean by diet, if like a low carb or carnivore diet. I generally don't eat in the morning and usually go hungry for several hours a day. I don't know if that counts as a diet, but that's usually my scheme. And then I eat too much at night. That's my strategy. And it creates this shape in front of you. It seems to be okay. Do I have any New Year's plans? If you're talking to me, Tammy Riley, I'm working tonight. I'll be working at 4 o'clock. and work until midnight or so, which I'm a little scared of because I was up at 3:30 or so this morning. Oh, but anyway, it's been a pretty glorious audience considering how early we went live today. Glorious indeed. And I'm looking forward to finishing up this cup of coffee. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw on my workout clothes and head on over to the gym and get my workout done early this morning and leave me the rest of the day to take care of what I need to before I go to work tonight at 4 o'clock and welcome in the new year. And just picture myself at a restaurant if the clock strikes 12 and looking around seeing if there's any single women. Hey, baby. I don't know if it's appropriate. I'm an employee, but do you want a New Year's kiss? So anyway, again, it is Wednesday morning. We have had a glorious audience today, and I thank you so much for joining me today. And hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. Hope you had a great night's sleep. Hope you're excited about the New Year's, that you're feeling good, that you are loving yourself, that you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.